February 10, 3:36 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 7. Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Are you mother-freaking ready for this? Man, last episode, we exorcised a demon for really reals, and now we gotta prove who actually killed Elise Donham. Yeah, we still haven't actually proved that yet, even though we figured a lot of this shit out already. But I have some ideas, and we'll get to those. If you saw the ending of last episode, you saw where my head was going, and now we're going to see if I'm on the right track.
Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the tests we had performed earlier.
Tests?
Yes, tests. On the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree.
Oh yeah, that. Totally forgot about it. I didn't. I was actually waiting on that. I thought that's who... When Godot got called earlier, last episode, or whatever, I thought he was actually going to get the results of the knife thing. But no, never mind. I didn't forget about it. I was waiting for it still. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. So, what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or...
Due to time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood.
Okay.
That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial.
So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then whose was it? Did anybody else get stabbed?
I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some evidence with their claims.
I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is in dangerously weak physical... Wait, sorry, let me read that again. The witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking, so let's finish this quickly.
Agreed. Very well, please bring in the last witness.
Yes, indeed. Maya Fey, here we go, dude. Here we go. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices. Maya?
According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the Karain channeling technique.
I'm frightened. The Fey clan, I don't want any more to do with it. Oh my god, really? Oh Maya. The pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable.
Very well. Now then, Ms. Fey, when the event occurred, you were in the garden of the Inner Temple, and you witnessed the moment of Ms. Elise Donham's murder. Is this correct?
I didn't see it. Oh god. Straighten up this moment, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But I... Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes! There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen?
Witness, if you please.
Yes, Your Honor. Finally, dude, I've been waiting to hear Maya's fucking take on all of this, because she was there on that side of the bridge the whole time, and I want to know exactly what the fuck happened. Here we go. I was passing through the garden on the way to the spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. Something warm splashed over you. Huh?
So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been this staff.
True. True. Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Huh. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone.
It seems that it would be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright, please begin your cross-examination.
Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. Yeah. She just freaking got done channeling a demon for a day and a half. I wouldn't be feeling well either, man. 2 days, I guess. One thing I want to check before I press all this shit. Real quick, I got one thing I want to confirm by looking at this. Be careful. Once you should be there. As soon as you must channel her. So it doesn't say who you must channel. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Leave everything to me. Her name is, she is our ally, the whole blank. Here's a picture of her. Use it when you channel her. I know you can do it. This says nothing about who Pearl channeled at all, and I was assuming it was Dahlia the whole time. Dude! This could have been anyone. Could have been any her. But because it's a her, I have the very, very, very high... I think I have a high probability of being right in saying that it may or may not be the other Hawthorne sister. I actually hope it is. Let's see if I'm right. The Hawthorne sister meaning Valerie, the one that got killed by her own sister, or by Dahlia, basically. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Let's not spoil it. If I'm right, I'll be happy that I'm right. Fucking nail this shit in the fucking ground. But anyway, let's just do it. Press everything. Sorry, Maya, but I gotta press everything. Who else was on the Inner Temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course. But I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well. On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said? Well, let me think. She seems confused. It's probably because she's tired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training. Okay. Suddenly someone struck me over the head. Okay. Who did it? Who hit you? Well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind. You didn't see the person? But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Oh, let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? Press her harder. Come on, Maya, this isn't making sense. Why didn't you see this person? Well, let me think. It was, oh yeah, that's right. It was dark, that's it.
It was dark.
It's not good to have too much light around when someone is undergoing spiritual training.
Come to think of it, there was earlier testimony to that effect as well. So it was dark in the garden on the night of the crime.
Which is why she didn't see her attacker. Alright. I thought maybe she was trying to hide something, but guess not.
Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely
the spirit that was channeled by Elise Donham, Dahlia Hawthorne. Okay, we can confirm that. Based on what Dahlia said, that's pretty much right. She said she knocked Maya in the head and then pinned her against the pillar, and then she felt like she got stabbed after that. So far, this sounds like what Dahlia told us, because Dahlia straight up just told us the fucking whole story that she knew. So we can confirm all of this to be true so far.
Very well, please continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head?
I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. Yes, I believe we can concur with that as well. What happened afterwards? My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think. You think? After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There were only two things rolling around in my mind at the time.
Well now, this is beginning to get interesting.
So what were the two things rolling around in your mind? My name is Maya Fey, 1 + 1 = 2. What? You see, for some crazy reason I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was. What the fuck?
That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So, what did you do then? What did you do?
1 + 1 = 2. How do you know that's true? She screamed, "Help me." You think you screamed, but you're not sure? Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared of my wits.
Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes.
This fucking guy. I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope. Wow, sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do? Do I press her for more details? Sure. What did you scream? No, My Last Hope. What is that? Wait a minute, Maya. What's this My Last Hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No. That's what you said. You said My Last Hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me." Yeah. But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like what you call it when that happens. Maya's not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. Wait, what? What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming at to for help. Oh! Now we got a confirmed third person in the garden. Good. Good. Ah! Yeah. What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Wait, what? Huh? What?
Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person?
I meant to keep that part a secret. Wait, what? What have I done? Stupid. Huh. It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure? You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber.
Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony.
Okay. I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. A man? I didn't expect it to be a man. Huh. That makes things interesting if it ends up being a man. But, okay. Let's go ahead and press that. A man? A man? Who was this man? Well, you see, I couldn't see. You couldn't see? She used this excuse twice now. Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright.
Lantern light, did you say?
There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. Yeah, but it wasn't lit, as far as we know. Wait, they always light it when an acolyte is in there for training, but it wasn't lit. That's a contradiction right there. Hey, you know what they say, under the lantern, darkness reigns. So I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker, who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time. Pretty sure there was no light in there at all, but what? Okay, was this something warm? That's weird. You don't mean, was it... I didn't know it at the time, but I think it was probably blood. She's saying that's when Ms. Donham, who was channeling Dahlia, was stabbed in the back by the killer? Probably. At that moment, I was paralyzed with fear. I was just sitting there in the snow. I'm sure blood got on everything around me. That's when I lost consciousness. So what happened next? I don't remember. How are you saved? You don't even remember that? No, I haven't got any idea. I really don't know what happened at all. That's too bad. I've worked side by side with Maya for 2 years now. When she hides something, I can tell by now how she acts. And right now, I'm absolutely certain she's hiding something. Yeah. Well, we already confirmed there's a third person in the fucking thing. Okay, anyway, could see a man by the light of the stone lantern. I think there's your contradiction right there. I said the lantern didn't have it. It wasn't lit. The lantern was not lit. Stupid Maya, quit hiding shit from me. So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Donham, otherwise known as Misty Fey, your mother. The killer? Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you?
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
To be frank, Your Honor, I think she is in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. It was pitch black, bitch. No! Quit holding things back, Maya. We gotta get to the fucking bottom of this shit.
Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this.
Easy peasy, sir. Easy peasy. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect, clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of café à latte. Café à latte. Café à latte? I don't know. Café au lait? What?
Cafe au lait? Is that even legal?
What? What do you mean is that even legal? Mr. Trite's words are the milk and you are the spoon, Your Honor.
I'm the spoon? I'm no spoony bar, I'll have you know.
Dude, you can't have Final Fantasy references in a Capcom game. How dare you? Anyway, you must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Yes. Sorry, but that's not gonna cut it, bruh. What did you say? If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick? May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, or an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of the attacker in front of her. No! Oh yeah, Maya. Quit hiding shit.
Order! What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Fay saw the real killer under pitch-black conditions?
Objection!
Trite, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene.
Objection!
There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark, and now you're trying to cover for him.
Cover? For the man that killed her mother?
There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Huh. You talk a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't. Please, stop. Maya's dead set on protecting this guy, the man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother, but I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. That's what Edgeworth would do.
All right, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you saw Miss Fay saw on the...
Wait, what? Do we have a person in... Oh, no. Oh, no. This is bad. Is a guy? It's a guy. Well, okay. Not necessarily. It says who was this person. But we said man they clearly said man like 5 times. And the woman that I would guess it would be isn't even on this list. So who the hell would Pearl fucking channel? All these people are alive, man. None of these people are dead, man, other than Mia and Elise. The rest of these people are alive. Who the fudge would kill Dahlia Hawthorne that we have to present? I have no earthly idea. Who was the person that Ms. Fay saw in the darkness? I don't know. Some things you can see better in the darkness. That I heard that too. So that's interesting. Who was it? Well, if it was a man, it wouldn't be Edgeworth. You wouldn't have been able to see him. An old friend said to be number 1. Larry Butts saw an unbelievable sight. I mean, the only other person who would be mad at Dahlia is this fucking guy. But how? What? Holy shit. Holy shit. I wasn't even thinking about this guy actually being involved in the case. Holy shit. Are you serious right now? And this all just became 100% clear. I thought we had a 100% clear rate earlier, but now I think we got it. Godot is actually involved in this. Remember how we couldn't find Godot for a whole day? And then we found him the next day? Holy shit. And remember how when everything goes dark, his fucking Star Trek eye cover thing shines in the darkness? Bro. And he would have 100% reason to want to kill Dahlia because she's the one that killed him, basically. So, whoa. Pearl has nothing to do with it. Wow, I was way off. Dude. Okay. It was Godot. It had to be. Because it was pitch black, Miss Fey was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see it for itself, how this is possible, yes?
What? But how do you propose to show us something like that?
It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night.
Conditions?
Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. Son of... Wow. We had this happen to us earlier in the game, too. Total foreshadowing. Holy shit, dude.
What? This is... But it can't be.
Oh, but it can. Huh. Yep. There he is. Cyclops himself. That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite. Nice. Oh my god, dude. This is more amazing every time we get further into this case. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. And that's why she's protecting him. Son of a bitch.
Order! Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it?
Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person.
What do you mean by that?
If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights?
Well, witness, answer the question.
Yeah. You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya. I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason. Wait, what? What? I mean, I tried. Or is Maya still protecting him?
Witness, Mr. Wright, what the...
Stop your chattering, Your Honor.
Chattering?
If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. You just said that.
All right.
You said it twice in like the span of a minute.
Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... Okay. We got more information. Okay. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Indeed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. And all the snow around the snow lantern had been carefully cleaned up, too. Uh-huh. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. Oh, you just assumed. Okay. Well, either I'm 100% right about the Godot thing, or I'm still right about Pearl channeling someone. I hope. I mean, it's got to be one or the other at this point, but I would have never guessed Godot. The fact that he was missing for the whole first day was very fishy, though. I feel like I hope I'm on the right track, but anyway.
So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor. She's still just trying to protect him, though.
No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot says, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the criminal was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination.
Alright, dude. Fuck my life, dude. Well, there had to be something in there, Maya, that she fucked up on. So she was lying on the training hall floor. Fine. Press it. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think. I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. So then the person that carried you to the inner temple...
It could only have been the killer.
True that. That's what I think, too. So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. Alright, well that much we pretty much could deduce based on, what we know. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. I don't know. Looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. Okay. Torches were lit, body was gone. Okay. Torches were lit. Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed. I'm gonna say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be?
The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body?
That's true. It's hard to see how that could be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Someone who's trying to protect Maya, basically. That's exactly what Godot would that's exactly what Godot would want, right?
Very well, let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene.
And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up, too. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow. It did look really odd. It was very etched out really nicely. The snow was removed in an unnatural-looking rectangular shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple. Sorry for the yawn. There was a lot of shovels around the inner temple. But they're all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use.
An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow anyway?
Well, there's one thing I could think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah. The area I collapsed and ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. To think that's the most reasonable explanation, I think this would.
Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount.
That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood. Very true.
It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue.
But I think that this will help explain them. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. Okay? So, you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes. But earlier you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble. Moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. Okay, so we already went through all this. Shit, we have to present something now? By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, the body was gone. And all of the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up. Since the person did all that work, I just assumed it was a man. Yeah, and this is, I don't even... What am I supposed to do here? Press again? I don't know. Let's see. Naturally, the killer must have done it right. Yes, I think so, but why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something like the killer desperately wanted to hide. The truth is, When I saw the crime scene, I felt something. Oh, she is saying more. It did say to come back to this in a minute, so I'm glad I checked that first. You did? Yes, I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me. For my sake. Okay, see? Makes Godot even make more sense.
What? Hiding it for you?
Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Rikini had come back and looked at the garden...
She may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened.
Yes, I'm sure of it. Okay.
Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. Weird. But alright. Press it. They did it all for your sake? Well, if the body and the blood hadn't been removed, I would have immediately been the prime suspect, right?
Yes, I suppose that's true.
Yeah, and if that happened, the body would have been... Holy shit. Holy shit. It is Godot. Like, I think we've 100% confirmed that. I just thought of another detail of why it is Godot. Remember when he said that the stone pillar was perfectly clean and he couldn't tell? Oh my god, and that's why he got all the snow too, because he couldn't see how much red there was, so he just got a big, enough. He would hope that he got all of it. Oh my god, dude. He wanted to make sure that he didn't miss a spot, so he got all of it. Dude, it was Godot. Oh my god. Oh my god. If her real identity had come out then, right then, it would have been terrible. Because remember how he couldn't see that there was blood on the pillar? He would have cleaned that up if he saw it, but he didn't see it, remember? And then he freaked out when we said that Maya was written on there? Dude! Oh, man. Okay, Master of Khura'in killed by her own daughter? I don't think Maya would have been able to handle it. True dat.
But still, it's rather difficult to fathom the killer's motives. What reason is there to go through that much trouble to protect you?
Torches were lit and the body was gone. Should I press all these again? I mean, I pressed the one again. Should I press more again? Okay, so if I can skip through it fast, that means they're not going to say anything new. Alright. One person at the inner temple was Maya. Okay. All of a sudden... I'm just gonna press them all again. So you're saying... Oh! Wait. Snow was removed. Unnatural. There was a lot. Really heavy. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Victim's blood. The thing is that there was some of the victim's blood on the pillar. Right? There was no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have just scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood. But instead he did it all because he couldn't see. Okay, I got it. I got the answer. I don't know what I got to present, though. And all the snow around the stone lantern to be carefully cleaned up. Since the person did that work, I assumed it was a man. Torches were lean, the body was gone. I think this was not. Do I present the pillar and say, oops, they missed a spot? Is that what it is? Because that's clearly what's going to contradict something here. Because if he cleaned it up, he missed a spot, is what I'm saying. And why did he miss a spot? He couldn't see it. I'm going to try it right here. Holy shit, I put it on the right one too. Nice. The body of Elise Stoneham was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then, at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that still seems somewhat odd. That's a lot of S's. Oh, and what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern that you couldn't see for shit. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. Ah. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't he wipe the writing off the lantern?
Ah, you're right.
Yeah, indeed. The most incriminating piece of the blood. Seriously, though.
Order! But, Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene?
Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. Damn right. But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Yeah, he's blind as fuck. Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it. He couldn't see it for shit, man!
Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in the blood on the lantern?
Because he couldn't see that shit. Couldn't see that shit. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit up and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There is no way any normal person would.
What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright?
There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether.
And who would that be?
Oh my god, we're gonna present him twice in a row, man? We already presented him once. Guess we're gonna do it again. Sorry, dude, but you definitely did it at this point. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. Indeed.
You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot?
This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented, when you almost lost your shit.
This lantern, there's something written on it. Why it's written in blood?
Huh, nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle. Yeah, dumbass. Blind mother effer. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Tribulations. This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on.
There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court?
Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be?
Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron.
That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. Yeah, see? I remember that, but I didn't even think anything of it at the time, to be perfectly honest. I guess I could say I thought he was just blind, and clearly he was. Colorblind, anyway. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. Huh. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them?
So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you couldn't see the red writing on the lantern?
Silence is deafening. Hey, Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea! Because I can't... you wouldn't know, though. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer! But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. The truth will set Maya free! Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Ms. Elise Stoneham, also known as Ms. Misty Fey.
It's hard to believe this may be true. However, once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you.
Huh. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on, how does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich. Do go on, trite. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow.
The snow? How so?
Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If they wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area?
Yes, why didn't they take just that area? Oh! Could it be?
Indeed it could. Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so, he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Nailed it. Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. They would have been able to see fine.
It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot?
Let's try and hear him explain himself out of this one. Oh shit. Wait, just a moment, wait a minute! Maya?
What is it, witness?
Mr. Godot isn't the killer! After all, he didn't even come to the Inner Temple. Until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed up. Maya. You can't testify to something like that. Why? What do you mean? I may not look it, but I'm... After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. That's true. That is true.
She didn't? I'm afraid I don't follow.
Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Until about, I don't know, an hour ago? Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, that's right.
Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Maya, do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Huh. Nicely done, trite.
Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the Inner Temple after the murder.
Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling and my spirit left me, as it were. But that little girl was there at the Inner Temple, too. Yeah, I know. I know. That's another thing that's bothering me about this whole situation also. What happened with Pearls, man? Pearlie was also stuck on the Inner Temple side that night. Yeah, I know. The next morning, she looked around, but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up. Huh.
Who is this Pearlie?
That's my little cousin, Pearl Fay.
So when did you hear about this?
Oh, just a while ago, while I was in the medical office.
I'm terribly sorry, but what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
What? Come on! Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be. Oh, God. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. Huh. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness.
Mr. Godot?
Let's just move on to the cross-examination, if the defense has no objections.
This is highly unusual, but, well, Mr. Wright?
Let's get this cross-examination started, baby. 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 Alright, after the incident, Pearlie was also stuck on the Inner Temple side of the night. There's nothing wrong with that, but let's go ahead and press it anyways. So where did you think Pearls slept that night? In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte training.
But even so, why did she go to the Inner Temple in the first place?
It seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya. She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense. Indeed. Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the Inner Temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Donan. Okay. Okay. She searched the entire Inner Temple side end to end. Well, you see, Pearlie gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times. The Inner Temple side has two structures, the training hall and the spare prep room. And there's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it. There was a storage shack, too? Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined a storage shack all that carefully? Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate.
So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack.
Okay, well, you're only proving that it could have been Godot hiding in there. Dummy. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge? What do you mean? I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge. Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times.
Poor little girl. All alone like that?
Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the Sacred Cavern, Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock. She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. Uh-huh. So it was your first time on the Inner Temple side, Mr. Godot. That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question?
Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness.
What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor.
Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well? What do you have to say, Mr. Godot?
Nice. Spun it on his face. Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains? I think I'll pass. So he had never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh? Ha! You want to say something, Trite? In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is. Okay.
Very well, please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policemen came over to the Inner Temple side, right?
Yes, then Mr. Godot found Pearlie first and cheered her right up. Okay. He cheered her up. That's what Pearlie said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot.
And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict.
Huh. Cut it out. You're making me blush. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves in more ways than one. The truth is, there aren't that many places to look on the Inner Temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-tooth combs. So I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way. Godot style.
I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts in my own way. Judge style.
Huh. Maybe I should ask some questions. Phoenix style. Oppa Phoenix style. Cheering Pearls up or Godot's investigation. Let's hear both. So, you cheered Pearls up. When I found that little girl, the first thing she asked about her was her cousin, Maya Fey. Really? The bridge had burned down, and she was huddled up in a tiny shack with no heat. Even though she must have had a truly terrifying night out there, she asked about you before she had said a thing about herself. Pearlie, I noticed that you weren't anywhere on the Inner Temple side, but I couldn't find it in me to tell her that. So I gave her my last cup. With milk and sugar to hide the bitterness of the harsh truth.
What a sweet story.
He almost cried. He had a thermos of coffee? Why doesn't that surprise me? There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the Inner Temple when it had happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Donham. Yeah, true that. Let me go back to that last one. Press it again, and we'll get to the other part of it and have him say what he was doing there with his investigation or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, here we go. Godot's investigation. You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Fey, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Western tastes? Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy?
So from there you headed for the prep room.
Wait a sec. What did Godot say just now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? Dude. He said that he found, or he, how did he know this was Misty Faye if it was covered in gravy? That's what I was gonna say. He said he saw Misty Faye in her whatever, but how did he know that it was Misty Faye if it was covered in gravy? Because it got covered in gravy on the night of the murder, right? I mean, I assume so. So if he got there, like, if it got covered in gravy during the nighttime, and he wasn't there, then he wouldn't have known what was under there. So yeah, okay, that's the contradiction. But where the hell do I present it? Found Pearly. That's when Mr. Godot arrived. Next day, when the bridge was fixed. The next morning, he looked around. Where do I present it? I'm gonna save real quick, because I don't want this one to like destroy my damn life bar in one go. I think I have this right. I just have to figure out where to present it. He found Pearly first. Okay, so he arrived at the Inner Temple the first time. I'm gonna just present it here. Where'd it go? This one. Objection! Fuck yeah! Genius. Mr. Godot, the first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place. Why do you say that? Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall.
Hanging scroll?
But Mr. Godot's right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired, 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this.
What's that wonderfully delicious smell?
The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Faye. Eat shit, you liar. Oh god. Wait a minute, Nick! Yes? Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look at the top. There's a crest there. Ah, that. It's the mark of the master, correct? Exactly. So if you know the meaning of the mark...
Then you could guess that it was a picture of Misty Faye on there.
True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Oh. Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the Inner Temple long before the crime took place. Yeah. Can I ask you just one thing, little thing, trite? What is it? This whole theory of yours. It all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed. That's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak onto this crime scene. Of course, Mr. Godot knew about the plan. Huh?
What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of the plan?
Yes? The only way that could have happened, though, is the burnt letter opened once before. There you go. Nailed it. Wouldn't have guessed that it was him. I really thought it was going to be Misty. Why did Misty channel Dolly in the first place? That's the thing that's baffling me about this whole thing. Why did Misty channel Dahlia? She has to do it on purpose, right? Why the fuck would she do it on purpose? Did she also read this? She must have also read this, right? Anyway, whatever. This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in the Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time Little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed.
Unsealed?
Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the Inner Temple. And you're saying this crafty killer is me? You bet I am. But you just said that the instructions were hidden. That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. if he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out.
Yes, and when was that?
During a visit. A visit? Morgan Fay told her daughter about Pearl, about where the instructions were hidden, during one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden.
Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center?
Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with an easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot, bitch! I guess that makes sense. Makes sense. Can't deny that.
Order! Mr. Godot, you're under fire again!
This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you! You were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. Bullshit, dude. I know who you are.